Joining me from Israel to give us the latest on this war is Lieutenant Colonel Peter Lerner of the Israeli Defense Forces. Colonel Lerner, thank you for joining me again. The land invasion of Gaza was tipped to start as early as Saturday. It's now Thursday. Is Israel having second thoughts about going in?
The IDF is making the necessary preparations in accordance to our operational plan in order to achieve our goal of destroying Hamas and taking away the option that it can ever use the Gaza Strip as a staging ground for terrorism, butcherism, and massacres and abduction in Israel ever again. The scope and the plan, we never announced when we were planning to mobilize. It was an assumption based on, I guess, just seeing the amount of forces that have been accumulated. But when you rally so many forces, and we have recruited some 300,000 reservists, you need to train them, update them, operational planning. Mobilization will come when the government instructs us to do so, and when it is deemed the absolute necessary, relevant time, and not one moment beforehand. We don't want to rush into anything. War, as Clausewitz said, is political intercourse by other means, and we need to utilize the military force in order to achieve the political goals of this operation. Indeed, we are preparing ourselves. I would say we have a very well standard of where we are currently, and we will mobilize when we are ready.
Now, have you had any news of the hostages, apart from that video released of one who said she'd had been taken to a Gaza hospital, had surgery on her hand? 199 people that Hamas terrorists took back to Gaza. There was a moving protest today by Israelis in Australia demanding that Hamas release them. Any news?
Nothing I can report. I want to be very, very cautious in anything I say about this very sensitive issue. I'd say 199 people. It's the families are, their lives since the last 13 days has been torn to pieces with stress and concern for their loved ones. The efforts to bring them home are ongoing. Their presence in Gaza obviously is a key part of our operational planning and perspective. But the less said about hostages, the best. With regard to that ruthless video that Hamas put out, we need to be very, very cautious even addressing it. Of course, it is part of their psychological terrorism that they're trying to advocate. They need to be released. They need to be released now. Their well-being is the responsibility of Hamas, who abducted them. But we are operating in order to bring them home. There's lots of activities. I can also say that our operations on the ground with regard to raids that we are conducting in the immediate vicinity of the Gaza perimeter, the fence, is in order to still find bodies. We are still finding bodies of Israelis that were left on the ground almost every day now.
Colonel Lerner, before that Hamas terrorist attack on Israel 2 weekends ago, you were working for Israel's biggest and most influential trade union and social movement before you were brought back to the army to deal with the media like me. Many people on the left in Australia, they are siding with Palestine. There are a number of unions like the Maritime Union, even telling their members to go to a pro-Palestine protest on the weekend. Now, I hope I'm not offending you. I take it that you are of the left yourself. What do you say to the left and unions here? What don't they get?
I think when we look at the aftermath of the massacre in southern Israel and how Israeli society came together across the political spectrum in the aftermath of this, I think the biggest letdown of organizations and different unions is that they were very, very slow to even speak about the massacre. And so obviously, if you want to be on the right side of history and on the right side of decency, you first of all need to say this terrorism can never, ever be permitted, and you have to be a very, very strong voice. There is no balance in condemning that attack. You can't say yes, but one side and the other side. There needs to be a very, very clear distinction. Hamas went out to butcher civilians. They went out to massacre. They went out to abduct. That is what they intended to do. They did it as a strategic effort of their organization. This is well beyond politics. They took people from all political spectrums, people that were actively cultivating from the peace movement, people that their day job was to pick up Palestinians from the border in Israel, between Israel and Gaza, and take them to Israeli hospitals. That was what they were doing as part of their life mission. And he's been abducted into Israel. So it isn't a leftist or right-wing issue. It's an issue of general decency. If you're siding with Hamas, you are on the wrong side of history.
Well, I wish I shared your confidence. History's taking a very nasty turn at the moment. But Lieutenant Colonel Peter Lerner, thank you so much for your time.